everybody, we are live in Guanacaste, Costa Rica at Rythmia Life Advancement Center. I have these two goddesses to interview today, and we've just been having a good chuckle, and I've told them to hang tight with their epic stories because you're in for some cries and some laughs. But before that, I just want to explain a little bit about Rythmia. If you haven't been here before and you're tuning into this for the first time, you might hear some crazy stories. But just trust me, if you get yourself down here and drink this sacred medicine, you will totally understand what we are all talking about. You can also get Jerry's book, Shit the Moon Said, A Story of Sex, Drugs, and Ayahuasca, which details Jerry's story about being addicted to everything and anything and not wanting to be here anymore. And then taking plant medicine, which took him to the moon, and he spoke to the moon and got epic downloads and created this place. And this place is the most amazing healing haven I have ever visited. And I've traveled the planet looking for the most epic healing place ever because obviously my health was in need of some healing. And so we offer here lots of different healing modalities. We have ayahuasca, plant medicine, which is the main part of the ceremony. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the ayahuasca ceremonies in the evening. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the breathwork ceremonies. And then throughout the day, we have yoga, meditation, talks with Paula, The Answer Is You, which is Michael Beckwith's teachings, which is absolutely incredible, and when it's being presented by Paula, it's even more amazing. We have talks by myself, Jerry, JJ, Meg's amazing food. There's just so much going on here. Even colonics, massages, you've got clay cleanses. It's just an all-inclusive resort, which is very comfortable and safe. I see online a few keyboard warriors that put their 2 cents in about like this place taking away from the jungle and taking away and trying to make money out of such a sacred medicine. But in my personal opinion, I have done this medicine all over the world, and for safety and safety alone, I would definitely recommend coming here because it is medically licensed, and you have all the tools here. You have all the talks, all the integration explanations, the yoga, the meditation. And other places that I've drunk just haven't offered that whole orchestrated like schedule and program with everything combined. So it's not just about coming here and drinking the medicine and then just paying for the medicine. You're paying for the surroundings and the people and the staff and the safety. And so on another note, it's not like we've just taken the medicine and just decided to market it. We've actually been specifically told by our shamans that are from the Colombian tribe, Taita Juanito. His granddad is 110 years old, and he's been drinking medicine for a very, very, very long time and is still drinking. And he got the download in the middle of the jungle that it was time to bring the medicine out to the West. So he received that download, and then he sent his people out to go and spread the message. And so him and his tribe, Taita Juanito, and he sends his crew here every Thursday. They come here and to spread the message. So more and more people are getting the message and the truth of who they truly are. So for me, I try to avoid people's opinions when it comes to, oh, you're stealing the sacred medicine or anything like that, or this shouldn't be done in this environment, because all we are doing is sharing the love and spreading the message. And we've had direct permission from people who have been doing it for 5,000 years of lineage. And so I just need you to make sure that you're not taking in other people's opinions when it comes to that, because you have to listen to your heart. We are touching more and more people every single week here that would never have dreamed of going into the jungle. They would never have dreamed of doing that. There's people that can't even walk that come here, people that can't even see that come here. So we are offering an extremely valuable service by being here. So literally send people that need this medicine here. It is the most safest place I have ever drunk medicine, and you'll totally appreciate it when you get here. And so on that note, for more information, Taita Juanito and his crew have made a documentary called The Medicine. So that's going to be coming out this year. We have The Reality of Truth, which is on YouTube, and that's free. We also have Mrs. Moon's Medicine, which is all about Jerry's story, and that's also on YouTube. And then Thrive 2 is coming out, and it talks all about us. So there's lots of information that you can look and search and see. And I know that some people just aren't comfortable with going into the jungle and doing it, you know, with language barriers and like having to trek through jungles and stuff like that, and insects, and there's just lots of contraindications. So we don't have any of those. So it's just an option to get this message out there and make it more available to the world. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but the world's a little bit fucked, and everybody needs to hear this message and experience how divine they are through this sacred medicine. So I think that's the end of my little talk. I will get into today's interview with these two goddesses. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on. I'm just super honored. We have Anne-Marie and we have Ellen. And there's so many synchronicities in their story that I didn't even know. I knew I was beelining for Ellen because I knew that there was a connection with me and a guest who helped her get here. So I wanted her story out here. And then Anne-Marie said, oh my God, I need to do this interview. And then when we started talking, it's crazy that they're both here at this point in time, and you'll see exactly why in a second. So thank you so much. I just want to get into how you came to find us, but mostly where you were at in your life. So starting with you, where were you at in your life that made you think, you know what, I think I'm going to try that ayahuasca stuff? Where was the calling from, and how did you hear about us?
Okay, I think it was around, probably 5 years ago now, and I was traveling through South America for a year, and I was at a Hare Krishna organic farm in Ecuador, and I was there for, I ended up being there for about 2 weeks, and that's where I first heard about ayahuasca, and I thought, I kind of want to do that, because I sort of left my job and I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life, and I was just looking for some answers, and so looking to what to do next. And I started researching it, and it was all just places in the jungle, and I read stories of women getting raped and all this kind of stuff. And so it wasn't the right time, and I just kind of put it out of my mind. And then I follow High Carb Hannah on YouTube, and I've been following her for years. And she told her story, and I was listening to her testimonial, and I was like, oh my God, like I identified with a lot of what she said, just that looking for direction. And then another friend of mine just wrote a blog post about it, and I was like, messaging, going, look at this video, like I just want to go here, and I can't believe you're talking about this as well. And so then I rang up. That was on a weekend, so then I rang up on like the Monday or something, and this was in August last year, and I wanted to do the triple share, and they told me, oh, you can't get in until April next year. And I was like, are you serious? You know, like I was thinking I would have to wait like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I can put you on a wait list. And I said, okay, well, I can't do December, January because I'll be back in Australia, but basically any other time. And well, it just so happens that now is the perfect time anyway. But yeah, so I've been waiting since August to do this.
Oh, you just knew that you wanted to do it. There was just
it was just a calling. And then when I heard High Carb Hannah talk about this place, I was like, that's where I want to do it.
Perfect. I love that. I love Hannah. I'm going to see Hannah in Sedona next week. So your story, I love how you got here because, so a little backstory. So Jackie, who is Melissa's mum, who Melissa's online, hi. So Jackie was here, and she came up to me and she discussed that she had this download that there was somebody who lived near her that she wasn't always close to or speaking to, but she just knew that she had to tell her to come here because she got this download that this lady, Ellen, was going to kill herself. So she was like, what do I do with this? And we're just like, well, you're going to have to act on that, I think. And then so
I've never even heard Rythmia. I mean, of course I've heard of ayahuasca, but just never something, on the radar for me. In my life, for the last 6 years, it's been a really, really sad time. So I've dealt with a lot of depression, anxiety, grief, and I just knew that there had to be something else. I mean, there had to be something else that I could do. And I just, felt like, if I didn't, I wasn't going to be here. I told my husband, in fact, New Year's Eve, that if something did not change, I would not be here by the end of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I don't know necessarily that I was going to kill myself and I don't know where I was going to go or what I was going to do, but I just did not feel like I'd still be here. I just, that sadness, that deep grief that I just could not overcome. So Jackie contacted me after I think while she was still here in December, and said, hey, you need to come to Rythmia. And I'm like, well, I've got this, I've got to do this, I can't, I've got all these medical problems, the medicine will, react with it, I just can't. She just kept, you've got to come. And so finally I talked her out of it the first time. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it, I just can't. And then she talked to me again and said, hey, let's go have lunch. So that's when she told me her experience, and that's when she told me what she told you. And it was almost, what she said that day was so close to what I had told my husband that.
And there was no way of her knowing that.
Right, no way. I hadn't told anybody but my husband that. So
this is so amazing that she got a direct download from the medicine, just that she knew that she had to get you here, like no matter what, which is why she kept trying, because she said to me she wouldn't have been able to live with herself if she didn't do whatever she could, because who was she to say that the medicine wasn't right? Like why would that random download come to her?
Exactly.
If it wasn't something she really needed to act upon.
And when she told me, I just immediately, we were at a restaurant, and I just immediately started crying. I said, how did you know that? Because I hadn't told anybody else that, that I just did not feel like I would still be here in 2019 because I was that sad.
Because you had a lot of trauma happen. Do you want to just go into
a
little bit?
Yeah.
Like
a little bit. Well, just a summary. In 2013, in March of 2013, my mom suffered a massive stroke, and it destroyed one side of her brain. 5 months later, my dad was in a crosswalk and was hit by a car. He died as a result of that 2 months later. And I moved my mom in with myself and my husband and my child to become her caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my mom and I were best friends, so, to see her become what she did was tough. But at least I got the 21 months to do everything I could. And when I say everything, I mean feeding, bathing, changing diapers, everything for her, So it broke my heart watching the downward progression of her illness. So when she died, when my dad died, I don't think I really dealt with it much because I had her still to focus on, and I had to help her through that grieving, So I held it together until 2015 when she died. That was in June, and I moved to Panama with my family in August of that same year. And I thought, I guess a change of scenery maybe would help me, but I haven't lived. For the last 4 years, I've just existed, or 6 actually.
And you've said that you've been on antidepressants since like your 20s.
Yes, exactly.
And you said that there was always a knowing that you were just like unhappy, but not knowing truly why. But then obviously trauma on trauma on trauma just added on to already like unsure foundation as to like what was truly going on for you inside.
Exactly.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So.
And then, so the download came from Jackie, and then the first time you were resistant.
Oh, very.
Because also you'd have to come off the medication, wouldn't you? So then that's a bit like, oh my God, like, who am I going to be without that now? That's been my crutch for years. Yeah. And then what was the final like breaking point then when you went to lunch? Was it because she said to you, right?
And she immediately got everything organized and for me, and just basically, here's your information.
You're going, it's all sorted, just get yourself.
Exactly, just be, somebody be here to pick you up or go to the airport.
Jackie, we love you so much. And Melissa, they're just such beautiful women, aren't they? But the fact is, like, I'm sure some people, when they get these downloads, they're just like, try and brush it off, like, I don't know, really? Yeah. But in my opinion, like, when the medicine gives you specific people to talk to about coming to do the medicine, there's always a reason behind it, always. It's like, especially because you two weren't like hanging out all the time and she didn't know anything about you. So thank you for listening and coming, because it's your transformation has been incredible, seriously. And neither of you had done medicine before. No. Beautiful. So let's get in. So you both arrived Sunday.
Yep.
And you were on the same flight but didn't know it.
Well, I saw you and Jackie at the airport, like, because there weren't many blonde women on our flight.
And you both live in Panama.
Yes.
So now you've got like BFFs for life.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's like an 8-hour drive between us.
Right.
It's nothing.
Nothing compared to continents.
Yes. Yes.
No, and so you breathwork on Sunday when you arrived. Neither of you have done breathwork.
No.
So how was your first breathwork experience?
It was good, but it was difficult because after I'd watched a bunch of the Rythmia videos on YouTube, like I did try doing some of the breath work. And because I do like yoga every day anyway, and I usually tack on a bit of meditation at the end, and I tried in that and I just yawn. Like whenever I try breathing through my mouth, I just keep yawning and yawning and yawning. So I was like, this is going to be fun. And then I don't know, before I arrived, I was having a little bit of anxiety because someone I know went to Mexico and did plant medicine, like not ayahuasca, something else, and he died. Mm-hmm. So I was having a bit of anxiety around that, and I was having like some chest pain and just not being able to breathe like completely.
Yeah. And
so I thought, well, how's this going to go? So the first, like at the start, I found it quite hard because of the yawning and like my breathing was kind of getting a bit more back to normal. So the deep breaths didn't actually impact me too much, but it was like yawning and yawning and yawning, and it was hurting, and my eyes always water, and so it was kind of generally unpleasant. And then like someone came and stuck one of the mouth opening things in, and they're like adjusting, so clearly I wasn't very good at it because it's like, okay, breathe in here and just like relax. And then I got into it and I really liked it. Like towards the end, I think I dozed off for a bit as well because I was super tired.
Yeah,
but
especially with traveling.
Yeah, but I didn't have any amazing visions or anything. But
it's good for the first one. It's like learning how to ride a bike. It's kind of just getting the flow and then like allowing oxygen just to go through.
Yeah.
And as well as being super, super tired, it's like it just all rolls into one. But the fact of the matter is that you showed up and gave it a go, and now your body will be, like last night would have been totally different compared to the first time. It's just like
I still needed the mouth thing.
Yeah.
And people still came and adjusted things for me, so I hadn't learned that.
It's all right, babe. It's early days, early learning.
But yeah, like I really liked it.
Good.
It's good.
And how was your first experience?
It was really great because I hadn't done either. And you hear so much, like you said, it's such a negative world, and so things just as simple as breathing, you're like, really?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah. I was like, oh, come on.
Once I started and I got it down, and I really didn't have to have much adjusting, believe it or not. But they were like, that's really good, it's really good. I mean, I just felt tingly. My whole body was just humming. That's what I felt like. It wasn't as extreme as it was the second time, which was last night that I did it, but there was still that I just felt like I was humming all over.
Yeah, it's so much like life force and oxygen flushing through parts of your body that have not had it for a very long time. So it feels like so tingly and like energy is just moving through. It's such a powerful cleanser, like alkalizes your system. You got to think like every part of our body like thrives. It needs oxygen. So like we're pumping more in, because most of us just aren't breathing right. It's like we're just breathing into our chest or we're just holding our breath. Like I catch myself holding my breath a lot, and then I'm like, I'm like, fuck, how long have I been doing that? I'm still here. So good first experience of this.
Yes.
So Monday night, with Marilu and Anka going deep with the German ladies, how was that for you?
Well, I was still having some anxiety around it, and
of course,
when I saw Dr. Jeff, I told him, and I said, I feel like it's either not going to work because, marijuana doesn't do anything to me, sleeping pills don't do anything to me. Like some drugs, absolutely nothing happens. So it's like, it's not going to work or I'm going to die. Nothing in between. It's going to be one of those.
Well, this is a sacred plant medicine that has a mind of our own.
So I had the medical check, and he's like, no, you're fine. Like, you'll be fine. And so going in, I was a bit scared.
Of course, it's so natural. And so what was your experience like that first night?
I had the first cup and nothing happened. Like, didn't really feel
building
anything.
the relationship with you?
Yeah. And then I took a second cup and still wasn't feeling anything. And the main thing I noticed was that I started having some of the geometric shapes and stuff like that, but I would get pulled out by everybody else around me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very distracted by the purging, the crying, and then, you know, like someone would walk past and I'd be like, where are they going? What are they doing? And I just kept getting pulled out, and I thought, right, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So I went out to a hammock, and I just lay in the hammock, and I just felt 100% sober. Like nothing was happening, and I thought, I could just go back to the room and go to bed. But obviously you can't leave. And so then I just started watching people. So, you know, because people would come out and walk around. It's not like you're stuck on a mattress.
Yeah.
And there was one guy, he was one of the older guys, and is it Ronnie or Ronnie?
Yeah, Ronnie.
He got him, so they were in the yoga studio bit, and he got him and he hugged him, and he's going like this, and he's making all these movements, and I'm thinking, he's had an amazing experience. And this went on for like 10 minutes, and so I was just watching them. And then, you know, the zombies come out and just kind of walk around and don't really know what they're doing and wander off again. And then a couple of people came out on their own and just sat there, and I just like watched them cry, and then they went back in. And then there's the 2 tea lights, and then they started moving, and I'm like, oh, here we go, something's happening now. And yeah, that's when I started asking questions, and there was the crying started. Like for me, it was the rest of the evening was just crying, and I didn't have any of my toilet paper with me, so that was awkward. But so I began like asking show me who I've become, and I got some clarity around that, because I kind of dealt with quite a lot of like the shit in my life. Not that I had a lot, like I feel very lucky that my life is quite easy. I don't have any family baggage. So I didn't have a lot to deal with, but I had some stuff, and I knew it was around my childhood, and I knew it was going to be around my issues with men and relationships. And so I got the clarity I needed around that, and, you know, like mother showed me who I'd become. Mm-hmm. And then I moved on to the, what's the next one? Show me who I've become. Not heal my heart. It's
merge me back with my
merge
soul.
me back with my soul. So I kept asking these questions, and then she wouldn't, like, she made me wait. So I think like a big lesson for me from Monday night was patience for the medicine to kick in, patience for it to do something, patience for like the answers to come to me. And so I was asking, you know, like merge me with my soul, and then like I wasn't getting anything, and then she started taking me back to my childhood, and I didn't get a specific moment. I got a few moments where I feel like I became detached, and the reasons around that, and one of them, which most people like. I don't think I've got any friends left from childhood, but I was actually very, very shy as a child, and very. Like, I didn't like attention. I didn't like people looking at me. I was very scared to do anything. And it kind of goes back to that. And I just had this vision of all these eyes watching me. And I'm like, and I was freaking out about it. And which is like, I've got past all that as an adult, and I feel very confident now. But it just took me back, and I was like so scared, and, you know, just seeing myself as a child, and people watching me and asking me questions. And I just like, felt really small and went into myself, and that's kind of when I like cried for my young self. Aww. And merged back together. Aww. So then it was like, okay, let's move on to the next one, heal my heart. So then I think that, you know, it kind of comes and goes in waves.
It does.
And she took me back right back to when I was a baby. And I remember my mum telling me as a newborn, I think like my heart hadn't developed properly or something by the time I was born. And she told me that I used to hold my breath and turn blue. And she was very scared that I was going to die. And I said, did I die as a baby? And I just got this yes, like for a few seconds. And so then I was like mourning my death, and all I could see was black, like this black dead heart. And so I'm like crying again, because, you know, it was like the night of tears and being in sad town. Yeah. And I said, can I have a new heart, please? And then it just went pink. And then I asked for like extra things in it, like does this heart give love and all this kind of stuff, and it just got pinker and brighter. And then like well, I was still crying, but I assume it was tears of more happiness at that point, not just like, I'm sad. And then because it was like I was in the hammock and I was looking up at the moon, and Mrs. Moon started talking to me. I wish Jerry was here this week, because I think he would appreciate like my Mrs. Moon story.
Yeah.
and anyway, so she's like pulsing at me, and I thanked her for my new heart. And then she said to me, "Can I charge your heart?" And I said, "Yes." So then like I had this moon beam coming down, charging my heart, and she was like filling it with like this energy and putting all like the broken bits back together.
Oh.
And that was super significant because the moon comes back on all the other nights. But at the time I didn't know that. I was just getting healed. And
what a glorious Monday night. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so amazing. Oh, that's beautiful. Having the moon like energy come and charge you.
Yeah. And I think that's why I was here, because, like we had the full moon on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Thursday, one of them. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it was there, like, it was visible in the sky. And I feel like, that's why I had to wait 8 months, because I needed to happen under this moon.
It was perfect time. And
Yeah.
the moon was gloriously full most of the week.
Was.
Yeah. Beautiful. So, Goddess, how was your Monday?
It was extremely tough. I mean, like she said, there were three of us really. We called each other the triangle of trouble.
Yeah, because we were two mattresses we were beside each other every night on the mattress. And then there was like your roommate here, Vanessa, and she was kind of over there. So we formed this triangle of trouble.
And but the three of us were really anxious. So to cope, I think, with that anxiety and just, about doing something we've never done, we were giggling and everybody else is meditating outside before you come in. And we're, laughing and talking.
Dean's got his altar with his crystals and his pyramid, and we're like, geez, he's brave. Like, should we have done something?
We're just sitting here on our mattresses, happy with our puke pail, as I call it, Yeah, so very, very anxious.
Yeah.
And just like her, I took the first cup. In fact, she looked at me when they called for the second. She said, "Hey, do you feel anything?" I said, "No, not yet." And then right then they said, "If you'd like to take your second." So I went up and thought, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I got this.
Yeah.
So I lay back down, and gosh, I don't really know how long it was, but it just all of a sudden hit me. And before I knew it, I was so incredibly ill, just so sick. And I got up and stumbled to the bathroom because I knew that it just wouldn't be this way, that it would be both ways. So I was not going to just right there. But I wasn't quite comfortable enough yet.
It's only Monday.
Right, it's only Monday, so we go. So I got to the bathroom, and I was so sick. It was just coming out, and I was, started crying, sobbing. And I was, JJ said, I guess, to look into
and ask what it is.
What is this? What is this?
Yeah.
I kept hearing, this is your depression, your anxiety, your grief, your anger. That's what this is. And it just kept coming. And it would stop for a minute, and I would get up and stumble outside. And then for some reason, I just had this urge to run every time I would get out of the bathroom. So I'd run outside, and one time I was heading to a hammock, and the hammock started swaying, and I just stopped. I was like, no, not happening. And when I turned around, one of the, I don't know which one it was, one of the workers had come after me, to make sure I
thinking that you were bolting.
Right, exactly. And then she just stopped, and I just saw her floating on, and she saw, because I just turned back around and looked up at the moon. So I went back and I laid down, and that went on, that up and down and sick and not, and then the tears started. And then I started asking. Basically, I wanted to see my parents. I just needed that. I wanted to see them. I kept saying, "Can I?" And I kept getting no. It's not time. It's not time. You have to wait. You have to wait. And also, I could hear everybody else being sick around me, and I would just, for some reason, my hands would automatically reach out to them. Just, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like I was trying to.
Yeah.
And then I started getting, you have to heal you first before you can help them. And that just over and over, heal first, help later, heal yourself first. You have to heal yourself. And this kept going. And then I started hearing that, you're enough. Everything you've done is enough. And then I was told, what? Yeah, I'll let you talk to your parents just for a minute. And I got to, my mom told me, thank you. Thank you for taking care of such good care of me. You're an amazing person, an amazing daughter. But your grief has gone on long enough.
Oh, And that's all we need is just a couple of seconds just to hear that, and then it releases us in such a big way.
Yeah. And then for her to say, it's long enough and it's time for you to go on. It's time for you to move on and live because you're not living.
Like permission to live.
Exactly. You're not living. You're existing at that. You have an amazing child and wonderful husband. Enjoy them. Go on. It's okay.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Okay.
That must have been
it was
so profound for you.
profound. So the tears just started, just on and on and on and on. And I feel like for the most of the night, that's how it was. It was a lot of, I just kept hearing over and over, you have to heal you. You've got to heal you before you can take care of anybody else, and you've done that for so long, and you did that for, 21 months, and for her to thank me and say, you did great, but it's enough now. It's enough your grief, it's enough.
Especially like hearing it from your mum. It's like, come on, stop it now.
Yeah, and in my mind, I kept saying, is this me? Is this you? Is this me? Is this you? And I kept doing that, with the medicine. And finally I heard, listen, just screaming at me, And also it seemed that once I was purging so much, I also finally got, do I get your attention now? That's what I heard. Do I have your attention? I'm waiting, you got it. I'm ready. So.
Fucking hell!
So that was Monday. Very rough.
Yeah.
Very rough.
Not your typical Monday evenings.
Yeah. No, not mine.
Wow, super, super powerful. So Tuesday with Brad, how was it for you?
Good. So before I go into it, I want to tell a story. So I'm in a room with Olive this week. And she's a very kind of like spiritual, kind of Reiki, yoga type person. And I was telling her what happened the night before, and she started talking about Kundalini energy and stuff like that. And so I was like, oh, wait, no, I'll come back to that. It was actually for the Wednesday. So Tuesday, we set up our little triangle again. No preparation. And my intention for that night, because I'd already got the miracle on the first night, was keep me safe, which was my one every night because, I didn't want to die. And show me trust. And I don't know if that was like what was said in the classes. There was like somebody, I don't think it was you.
No.
It was one of the other teachers was talking about if you want an intention, like trust is a good one. So I was like, okay, show me trust.
It might have been JJ.
Yeah. And so took the first cup, nothing really happened, went up, took the second one. And then I went and walked around and I don't know why, like it just seemed to like walking around after the first cup. The second cup. And then came back in and was waiting because I was like, okay, patience. Mama Aya has said, be patient, like things will come to you when you're ready for them. So then I start getting the visions. And you talk about like the HD movies. Mine's more like a virtual reality thing.
Oh.
And so then I started getting all these trippy visions and she just started showing me cool stuff. Like at one point, like I was a painting and I'm like touching myself, especially here. And I'm like able to stick my finger into my body and it just turns to paint. And then I was like weightless and like my arms were made of paper. And I was just seeing all this like weird trippy shit. And it was really fun. And so that was the night, like the playlist was amazing. And so then like it started getting a little bit more, like that was all just kind of fun and whatever. And then it started getting a little bit more serious. And I was asking about, she wanted to show me basically death. Because like I have a fear of death. So I hadn't specifically asked for it, but we started on this timeline of my life. And I knew that's where she was going. And I wasn't quite ready for it yet. And so, because the trust wasn't there. And so then I like to call it the Pachamama orgasm. So like I started getting some really vivid, cool stuff. And I was in the room and then I just had this like wave of ecstasy. You know the feeling you get before you actually come? Like just that feeling.
Yes.
And I got that, and then I was like, oh my God. And then these just waves, like it was like the best thing I'd ever seen, just like going out over everybody in the room. And I was like, oh my God, like she loves all of us. And I could hear the vomiting because I had the eye mask on because I didn't want to be distracted like the night before. So I had the eye mask on, like I'm picturing this thing, these like waves of love and ecstasy going over everyone. And all this like, ah! And I'm like, don't worry, she loves you. It's going to be fine.
Sending out orgasms to you.
Sending out, yeah, like orgasms of the universe. And then after that, I was like, okay, I trust you now. And so then she took me back to the timeline of death. And she took me to Palenque in Mexico, which is obviously a very powerful place. And I've been researching that over the past few days, and it's tripping me out majorly. Like the things that I've seen on Tuesday and Wednesday, and just some of the historical significance of where she took me in Palenque, and some of like the history around the site. But I'll get to that. So anyway, so we go to Palenque, and I'm on the ground beside one of the temples, and she pulls me into the earth. But before that, every time I lay on my side, I would get these distorted, like the visions would kind of be upside down and I couldn't see them. And it's because I needed to be on my back so I could be grounded to the earth. And so she pulled me into, like, vines and things came over my arms and legs, and she pulled me in and pulled me down into the earth and basically connected me with all this energy. Like we all just become energy again after earth. And she connected me with source energy, and nothing really dies. We just kind of like go back in and become something else. And so that was like really nice. So they were like the two big things for me on Tuesday night. One, the Pachamama orgasm, and the second one was overcoming my fear of death.
Well, that's amazing.
Yes.
Learning how to trust, having an orgasm, and knowing that death is not really
Like
anything to fear.
So after that, like the visions kind of finished. So, but I was, no, they didn't. So then I wanted to kind of connect with like, like dead relatives and things like that. Because I'd seen, some people, they talk to their mother and whatever else. So I was kind of asking about that. And I didn't get visions of any of them, but I felt the energy. And I also went looking for a friend of mine who committed suicide a few years ago, and I felt him as well. So I didn't actually speak to anybody who had died in my family or my friend, but I felt them, and I felt them like on one side, just like enveloping me. I'm here, like I'm still here, and I love you, and all this kind of stuff. So I got that, and it was all to do with the playlists of the songs as well. And every time like the song ended, I would go back to like that first place in Palenque, like to start the next one again. And so after I stopped getting all those visions, and I'm like lying there, and I was on moss. And what's the thing with the
metronome?
The metronome. Yeah. So I had that in my head. And from like earlier in the day, and I'm on the moss, and it's like with the songs, there's good beats going, and I'm like tapping, and I'm like, I want to tap into other people here. So I tried tapping into her. So I'm like there on my mossy mattress, like tapping, going, come on, Ellen, come on, feel me. Because she'd been crying a lot of the night. Like, so up until this point, like all I heard from her was tears and tears and tears. But then she'd come through, and so I could hear her like humming along, and I'm like, come on, I know you're in a good place now, come on. And then there was a song with a lot of drums, and then we're both tapping, and I'm like, because I was like, had some energy, like source energy from the ground going through me, like, and I'm like, feel the energy, and then I could feel it between us. Yeah. So that was like the second part, getting this energy connection going.
Oh my gosh, did you feel that?
I did because at one time I flopped my head over. I don't think I really moved it. It was more like and I can see her, and we were just right there.
Yeah.
Oh, how amazing.
But we didn't get Vanessa, but she was like,
she's kind of over in the
so.
How amazing.
But we were trying to tap, I was trying to tap her in as well, but that wasn't strong enough to get her. But she spent the whole time.
So you both worked on each other. So how was your Tuesday?
It was rough. It was rough. I decided this time, because I'd been so sick Monday, that I was just gonna, try, because Brad said, hey, if you just want to try smaller, that's fine. So I thought, I'm gonna try 2 smaller ones instead of just one huge one. So, that's what I did. So the first one, I don't remember it really doing a lot. I mean, it just kind of started and then when it was time for the second, I went ahead and did that. But then all of the, it just started coming back up. And I remembered from Monday, after I had thrown up so much, finally hearing, that's enough. It's all gone. Your depression, your anxiety, grief, that's what it is. It's gone, And also, and I didn't say this about Monday, it was green in the bucket. It was a sparkly green on that depression. Yeah. I thought it was kind of odd. So anyway, so when I started getting sick again, and I'm saying, you said that was enough. You said that I had gotten it all up. Why? Why am I having to do this? Why? So I marched back to the bathroom because I knew I'm not going to lay here. And it'd be, Yeah, so I get in there, and when I did, it was just dry heaves, and but it seemed like it went on forever. And I really thought I had, broken a rib because that's how bad it was. Yeah. So finally, I just said, I started crying again. At that time, I hadn't really started the crying yet. I was just more sick. And I just finally said, I just can't do this. I mean, you said that there was no more, so why am I doing this? It's basically to show you that there isn't any more, to show you that now it's time for you to heal. This is where we're starting. So I got up and I went on outside, and it was so hot, and I got in one of the hammocks, which I was able to get in without moving too much. And I just laid there and I just looked at the stars. And I remember there was this one star that looked like a butterfly, and it was coming towards me. And I was like controlling it, with my mind. And then I think I kind of went to sleep or something for a second. Then when I woke back up, it zipped away, Then all of a sudden, I started this feeling, and I'm like, I really never saw, but I just could feel my parents, my grandparents, my in-law, or my mother and father-in-law, some of my good friends, my sister-in-law that had just recently died, just all right there together. And they just all came to me. Just to say, hey, we're here. We're here. We love you. We have never left you.
No,
the
body
here,
vessel.
Right? Our body isn't here.
Yeah,
but we're still here. We're still every day. We see what you're doing, and you have so much to be thankful for, and you just need to be happy. Just be happy. Get your joy back. I mean, just it's time to go on. And just individual people, just things that were said, that had been said when they were still alive, just inside jokes were brought to
that
me.
only they would know.
Yeah,
so you're like,
yeah,
this is
they-
real.
yeah.
These are the real deal.
Yeah, it was really.
How
was really
amazing
fun.
that
Yeah.
like anybody who came here that needed to get in touch with a loved one would just have to come try the medicine and just have belief and just lay there and let it happen.
Yeah, and when I went back inside to lay back down, they all kind of congregated, around me once again, and we talked a little bit more, and just to know that hey, well, you're still here. You're not alone. You've never been alone. You just
That's so
haven't.
powerful.
Yeah. So it really was. So they kind of listened. They kind of all stayed there for a while I was still having that dialogue, with the medicine, and that's what I was told. I kept saying this, the triangle, and I was like, what is this triangle? And I was told this is you and your husband and your son.
Aww.
No, you, Vanessa, or no?
No, not like the triangle of trouble.
That's the upside
right,
down
that's
one.
the-
That's
right.
the
This is the real one. And I was told, you know what? You have an incredible family, and the three of you make sense together. When you're apart, it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's you and your husband and your son for always, and you need to make the best of that. You need to enjoy them, and you guys need to have a lot of fun, which we used to. I mean, I think back when we did, before everything happened to my parents. But I just kept getting that, and then one of my friends that had died was also a good friend of my husband's, and he was like telling me, don't worry, because I kept saying, because they kept saying, whatever's happened up to here, that's done. This is a clean slate. It's time to start over and move on. And I kept saying, but can you tell him that? And so our mutual friend said, hey, don't worry, I'll tell Bubba, because that's what we used to call him. I'll tell Bubba. Don't worry, I'll tell him. And that just really cracked me up, because, and there still were a lot of tears during that time, because,
Well, yeah, it's emotional, and also to know that they're still there.
Right.
Because we just think, we're just conditioned to think once the human body goes, that's it. So then no more. But drinking this medicine and connecting through meditation or just connecting to a different realm, you know that there's so much more to this life, and that we continue on. The soul is still there, and they're still with you. And what a beautiful realization.
And I believe all that because I am a Christian. So that's what we're taught. When we die, our soul goes to heaven. And all these people that I was seeing, were saying that. You'll see us again one day. You know that. You know that in your heart.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, how
it's just-
beautiful. Now you know that they're with you all the
Yeah.
time. So you can just, especially like, you don't have to drink the medicine all the time either. It's just like in your dreamland, when you're meditating, like you can like really get a visual again and like connect
Right.
in. But just knowing that they're always around you, you might even feel a little touch, or like yours was more touch. How beautiful.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was. And it went on, and then, later on in the night, it kind of lightened up, and
Mm.
we were doing, with the music and
Yeah.
just really into all that.
So turn into joy.
Yeah.
And I think back too about that night, there were several times when I came out of the bathroom that second time, and I was just like, I'm done. I don't understand, why am I still purging? And I just sat down before I made it to the hammock, and all of a sudden one of the ladies just came and sat down next to me. She was dressed all in white, and just sat right next to me, and just put her hand on my shoulder. That's all I needed. She never said a word. It was just, immediately I felt calm, just knowing somebody else was there. And then once I had gone back and inside of my mattress, the same thing. I was right in the middle of all of the, talking to everybody, and I was so emotional again. And she just appeared again and just sat right at the foot of my mattress and fanned me. Sat there and fanned me. Yeah.
They know. I don't know how they know,
They
but
do.
they
Well,
know.
we're all on the medicine as well.
Right.
So like we can tap into feelings. Everyone's different. Everyone's a different kind of healer. But some are visual. I get like a knowing, like I hear it, someone calling me in my head, or just know that I need to go to somebody. Some people are feelers, visual. It just depends. But we are like deeply connected, just like you are.
And at night too, my mother, one thing she said to me was, "I'm so sorry." I said, "What are you sorry for? What in the world are you sorry for?" She said, "Because of my stroke. I'm sorry what that did to you, because it did destroy me." Yeah.
Oh.
I said, "That wasn't your fault. You didn't plan on it to happen. You didn't make it happen." But she said, and I kept arguing with her, and finally she called me by my full name, Julia Ellen, and I knew, hey, I better listen.
Oh,
She said, "Just listen to me. I'm sorry that you had to go through all of this to get here."
I'm getting goosebumps all over
Wow.
the show here.
So,
But that's amazing for you to move forward.
Right.
Even though you didn't need a story, but still
Yeah.
it will heal you in such a way, because she must have been like feeling terrible at the time as well, to be putting you through that, her daughter.
Yeah.
So it would work both ways. You're both like healed by having that connection
Right.
now.
Right.
Ooh, so Wednesday, Sarah's night, ladies' night. I can
And
see
Marie's
the-
not. Hey, go ahead, Anne-Marie.
Up until Wednesday, Tuesday was the best night of my life. And then Wednesday night was Tuesday night on steroids.
Oh.
But before that, like going back to Olive, so I was talking to her about Tuesday night and like how I was feeling quite grounded, and like I felt it quite difficult to move my limbs at certain points. And she's like, "It's your Kundalini energy, babe. Tap into it, like pull it up." And so she started talking, and because she's like, "Yeah, just pull it up and use that energy coming up from the ground." And I'm like, okay. And I heard about the Kundalini awakening, but you probably know more about it than I do, but I didn't really know much about it. Anyway, so go off to Wednesday. First cup, nothing. Second cup, not anything really happening. And I just so I got up and I went and did some like downward dogs. Like I just did some yoga stretching. I don't know why, just felt the urge to do some yoga stretching. And then I went out onto the grass and I was just like connecting with the earth, just grounding myself. And like I feel like I was like pulling energy up through my like root chakra from the ground. And then I'm like looking up at the moon. And so the moon is, this is the night before the full moon, so it's still kind of a full moon. And then I like had this connection going with the moon, because obviously I'd made the connection on Monday. So then I could feel like the moon, I could feel the earth, and someone came out, one of the helpers, and he had like a little guitar or something, and he was playing it. And I thought, okay, I can stay. Like it's like I was meant to stay there for that amount of time to get that connection going with nature.
Yeah.
And so then I went back inside and lay down. And from that point on, for the rest of the night, however many hours that was, like I did not move. And I think that's why I went and did yoga, so that my back could deal with it. Because the night before, at the end, like I still wasn't really moving. I was very grounded to the mat. But like towards the end, my back was hurting a little bit and everything. So I feel like I had to do yoga so I could make the 5 hours or whatever without actually moving. because after that, like I just had Alex's voice in my head going, just ground, like just sink those roots and just pull up that energy. And so like I was tapping into that like that just ancient source energy that I'd seen in Palenque. Like I was pulling that up through the ground and I was magnetized to that mat. And then I was like pulling like energy from the moon as well. And so I'm like just still like playing around with all this at this point, going, yeah, this is pretty cool. Like I'm literally magnetized to the earth here. And then one of the German girls, like I had Ellen on my right and I had this German girl on my left, and she was having a bad night. Like, and I had the mask on again. And so because all the sounds were fine, it was just the visuals that were like pulling me out of things. So I had the mask on. And she was having a bad night. She was like vomiting, and like people were coming over and doing things and, you know, like trying to help her out. And she was half on my mat. And at the beginning, I'm like, why is she on my mat? Like, get off my mat. And then I realized, like, I was so magnetized. I was pulling her onto my mat. And one of the women came over at one point, and she moved my arm, and my arm just kind of spasmed and went straight back down onto the mat. And so I had my mask off at that point, and I was watching like this girl's foot, and it like kept coming over to me, and she'd pull it back, and it kept coming over, and there was one point where she just like left it there. And so once I understood that like I was attracting her, I was like, well, this is kind of cool. So then I was like trying to send her like some good vibes, because I felt very protected. I was like, whatever she's trying to get rid of, it's not coming into me. So I'm just like, if she touches me, I'm going to try and help her.
Aww.
And so anyway, so, you know, and then the music starts, and so I'm just like playing with this, like playing with like just channeling all this energy. And then the actual live music started, and like that just like amped it up even more. So I'm pulling all this energy from the ground, I'm pulling energy from the moon, I'm pulling like there's like the vibrations from this music. I've got like, you know, my virtual reality because going on under my head. And so I realized that like I had become Mother Nature. And so I was like, holy shit, like I have so much power here. I've just got all this energy. And I just started like pushing it back out, like it's healing energy. And first I started with these two. And so I was like, because after a while I could move my hands. I could move my arms, but I could like, as long as I was connected, I could like move my hands. So I had like one hand on her mattress. I had one hand on Ellen's mattress. And I'm just like sending energy to both of them. Like it was just, all I was getting was healing and love, sending it out. And then I was like sending it out to like the earth as well, sending it out to the room. And then I had that vision, like I showed you that image on my phone before, once I realized like that I had become Mother Nature in that moment. And then I went, holy shit, I was painted as this a year ago, and I still need to check and see if it was under a full moon. But basically it just made me realize that I'd been like, the medicine knew this was going to happen a year ago. And I found this artist in Vienna and connected with her, and I had to get painted by her. And I wanted it to be like, she said, what do you want? And I was like, oh, I really like your pastel colors, and I want like a vegan theme. But she built in the whole Mother Nature to it as well. So, and then after I realized that she was the artist of my virtual reality too.
Oh.
So she, like everything I was seeing, she had painted it. So I'm there like on the ground, like being Mother Nature. So it's kind of, I don't know, like at earth level. And so I had the forest, and like I couldn't see, but I could hear all the like going between the trees. And then when the music started, I'm like, look at all these earth walkers, you know, and I could feel the music. And so I'm pulling in all this energy, and it felt amazing. And so that like orgasmic feeling I got the night before, I was now creating it. And it was just going on and on and on. I'm like, oh my God, like I had all this energy going through me. I was pushing it back out, and I felt amazing. But then I just like this is when it started to get a bit scary. Like I was just pulling so much energy, and then it got to a point where I was like, holy shit, I don't know how to make this stop. Like it wasn't slowing down and it was getting out of control. Like I just had so much energy. My hands were on fire and burning. Like I could not get rid of it. And I just yelled, if anyone can feel this, please tap into it because I don't know how to control it. And at that point, Sarah, like the shaman, came over and she basically had to calm me down and like demagnetize me because I'm just like pinned to the earth and I couldn't move and I was like feeling quite stressed. And then eventually like I calmed down and then I stopped pulling all this energy and I could just like radiate it out.
Wow.
So I was just like sending healing energy out to the room. And people came up to me afterwards and said, I felt that energy and thank you, like you helped me heal.
Wow.
And so here's me thinking, am I just like tripping off my nut or is this something? I've got like burning hands, like I can feel the magnet, I'm pulling people towards me. People are saying thank you. And then Christian came around at one point and I don't know what he had because I couldn't see. It was like wind chimes or something. And he's doing it like around me and I was like, oh my God, this sounds so amazing. And I just went, and like was sending him energy. And I didn't know it was him at this point.
Yeah.
And afterwards, after the ceremony, he said, I was talking to him and he said, oh yeah, I came around and I did whatever it was. And I said, oh yeah, I was giving you energy. And he said, yeah, no, I felt it.
Oh, wow. So you're going to channel this into some Reiki or?
I have no idea, but I was just
Healing,
like, holy shit.
How amazing.
So that was my Wednesday.
Well, happy Wednesday that was. That sounds
Because I was
epic.
thinking, I went into, after Tuesday, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to top Tuesday. And then I was like, I'm definitely not going to be able to top Wednesday. Like I've got some like dark purging coming or something on Thursday.
Well, she does like to come in waves, but you seem to have gone up.
Yeah.
So how was yours? Being next to all
That's
this.
right. I know. This energy, Mother Nature. It was better. I mean, I decided again on the too small because it seemed to work. It didn't make me quite as sick.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm gonna try this again. Let's do the two shots. Just first off, the whole night was perfect. It was so amazing with all the ladies. The shot with Sarah.
Yeah,
Just
it's beautiful.
wow. I mean, so when it first started, it was kind of like, here I am. I'm not sick. Yay! That's just wonderful. Let me go. I'm gonna go out here for a little bit to the hammock. And I'm gonna look at the moon, and it was just so peaceful. And all I kept hearing. I wasn't getting a lot Wednesday, but at first I was hearing gratitude. Because I felt free. I felt healed. I felt whole again. And that was another thing. I wanted to talk to my soul again because I saw who I had become. That was pretty evident before I even got here. I knew. And I guess I really, and I had said this, I think, a while back about my soul. I just felt like it was away from me. I just didn't like it was, together. So I did ask finally, hey, what's going on? And she said, I've always been here. I never left you. I just was kind of over to the side because there was so much going on that I was waiting until you needed me or asked me to come back. And, here I am. I'm back. I'm with you again. And when I was out on the hammock, before I came back in, I kept saying to my mom and dad again, hey, I visually want to see you. Why can't I see you? Silent. And I never got an answer for that. And I asked my dad, I said, hey, Daddy, why aren't, you're not saying much to me? And his reply was, well, Judy, that's my mom. Judy doesn't let me talk much. Just something you would say.
Oh.
So, Wednesday was so much lighter, to me, for me, and funny, and it's like I said, enjoy that. But I needed, right? So when I came back in and I laid back down, I started feeling something in this hand, and I literally felt stitches going through my hand right in here. I could feel, and I thought someone was hanging, so I kept pulling like I thought there was a string on me, and then I could feel it, and of all the problems I've had, and I think I told you I've had 15 surgeries, so of all the things, the hand was always one I never had a problem with. You can see the scars here. I didn't have those before. And I saw those.
Shit.
Yeah.
See, it's like real surgery.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was, and then after that, then the scanning started. I could just feel my whole body was just humming, just like looking. And I kept saying, what's going on? And it was, shh, just let me finish. I'm not done. And I would kind of drift off and then I'd come back, awake and I'd be like, oh, we didn't know. We're not, go back to sleep.
Wow.
So I had a lot of the
sacred surgery.
Right. And then, she was talking about when it got so intense with her. I was used to all of her passing out. That was fine. The energy.
And you could feel it.
Yeah, and I was used to that. That was fine. But then her breathing started. I'm like, she's doing all right. And then all of a sudden it got so bad that I literally thought she's going to have a heart attack or the orgasm or she's going to levitate. I mean, it was that. So I saw somebody, it was come to find out it was the shaman, it was Sarah, and all I could do, I just got my hand up and I said, I just pointed. So Sarah came and sat down between us. You know, with
So you could feel like
I
her
could feel her.
vibrating.
Yeah, I'm like, she's about to just zip
fly
off.
off.
So I better get some help. I need some help for her. But what was so amazing is when Sarah came and sat down between us, there was a song that was playing, You Were Loved. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Injuries.
And yeah, so Sarah was, you know, doing all this with her, and Amber was just like, I can't control this. Anybody is there. And Sarah was like, it's not about control. There's no control. You're fine. You know, and she was talking to her. Well, about the time when that song started, I started listening to it, and that's just it. It just did me in. I just started sobbing because of the words of the song. And Sarah turned to me and put her hand on my head and rubbed it. And she said, "You're such a good girl."
So she's fixing both of us
Yeah,
at the same
she said, "You're such a
time.
good girl.
Aw.
You know, you've done great. You've done a great job." But it was my mom's voice.
Oh, wow.
You know, and I had asked why I couldn't see her. So to me,
Oh
that
my
was Sarah.
god.
When I saw her,
Goosebumps.
yeah. I mean, it sounded just like my mom.
She's such a good girl.
Yeah,
Oh my
you're such a
gosh.
good, she said, "You're such a good girl. You did such a great job." And just stroking my head, and I was like, "Wow, that just."
Oh,
You know, then
that's
that song kept
definitely
playing, and
channeling like
yeah, right.
Jeez.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that bit of the story.
Wow.
And that's why, and that I think that was almost that night, the end of the purge for me, because I just had to just bawl, I just cried and I cried and I cried until I just couldn't cry anymore.
Wow.
But at the same time I'm crying, I'm getting this gratitude. There's just so much gratitude to all of this experience, you know, to Jackie for making me come, you know, just all this love and all
And
these
going from
people.
someone who didn't want to be
Right,
here anymore,
exactly.
antidepressants for years and years and years, and was just existing,
Right, yeah.
to now like crying with gratitude.
And then
Wow.
those were happy tears after that, after she said that, because that said something my mother would have done.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever known Sarah do anything like that. Like,
Yeah, no idea.
no,
Right.
but like,
Yeah,
yeah,
right,
just everything in the ceremony is so perfect.
And then after she said it and did it, you were fine. And she just got up too. And
She is a fucking goddess.
She really is.
Sarah,
She really-
she's so
she really
amazing,
is.
Yeah.
isn't she? Oh my god,
So,
that's
yeah,
so powerful.
Well, and
for
then, you know,
both of
yeah,
you.
and I was just like, such joy. And then they started doing, like Christian started, I think it's Christian, the guy that does
breathing
breath
guy,
works.
yeah.
Breath work.
Winston, yeah.
Okay. He started playing the guitar and
Oh,
singing,
yes,
you
yes,
know, a lot of Beatles. So I got up, went over there, boy, and I was singing along with them.
Oh, that's so
it was
beautiful.
just, it was a perfect night.
So look, the most
that's
joy you
beautiful.
It
felt
was in a long
for
time.
many, many
Long
years.
time.
Wow. Okay, Thursday.
Yeah, so Thursday I was like, well, I can't top Wednesday night. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And the other thing I should say, like a lot of like the visions that I got on Tuesday night, which I couldn't really make sense of, like they all became clear to me on Wednesday night, except for one. And so Thursday night had the one cup and it was awful. Like the first 3 nights I was like drinking, I was like, this is all right. Like I could drink this. And then Thursday night it was like, you know, it was very gritty and like not good.
Yeah.
So I had the first cup and went and lay down because like I was so tired because I didn't sleep at all on Wednesday night because I just had so much energy pulsing through me, like did not sleep at all. Got up, went to yoga, day starts. And so I was pretty tired and I was like, I'm probably just going to have a nada. Like if I just sleep the whole night, that's totally fine. So lay down, you know, drifted off a bit and then woke up. Oh no. We didn't have the rapé on Thursday, did we? It's the rapé on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And that made me feel quite sick at the beginning. But I feel like it really enhanced my, you know, third eye
it does.
experience on Wednesday. And I kind of wanted it on Thursday. I was like, where's the rapé? Oh,
Yeah, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think it's
so there
just-
was none. And but anyway, so like and people was starting to vomit and everything.
Fast.
And I was feeling good. And so I was feeling like quite like in a good spot. And, you know, I hadn't done anything. I was just lying on the mat, just, you know, like trying to meditate and channel some energy without tapping into, you know, ancient Palenque source energy again. And just,
Trying
you
not
know,
to
doing that.
levitate.
Yeah. And so then he called for the second cup. And I was like, I don't really need the second cup, but I'm going to get it anyway. So I went up and had the second cup. And then I went outside and walked around and, You know, I went and sat, you know, the gorgeous tree.
Yes.
Yes. So there's a light. I noticed today there's a light under it. So I was sitting on the grass and I was looking at that, and the full moon was the full moon, and it had like this ring around it. It was just gorgeous. So I'm out on the grass and I'm like connecting in, like had my fingers in the grass, and I wanted to connect with the tree. And so I was trying to like, you know, connect with the tree through the ground, and I was talking to the tree and like just trying to draw some energy from it, because Olive had said to me again that she touched the tree during the day, and she's like, there's some good energy on that tree. I was like, I want that energy. Like,
There is.
give me the energy. So then I was like, I connected in with the tree, and then like I had the connection, made the connection to the moon, because, you know, I had my moon connection now, thanks to Mrs. Moon. And so I had those two going, but I didn't connect in. Like, it was just very easy and nice. And then I got up and I walked around and I went over to the fire, and then I was pulling energy from the fire, and then I went over to the Easter Island head, and I was like, oh, I wonder if there's anything here. I went and touched that, and that was like giving me some good vibes as well. So I'm going around and I'm tapping all this energy. And I'd been at the beach earlier in the day, so obviously, you know, I was like drawing energy from the sand, because, you know, the salt water is like the best energy, because, you know, the salt conducts the electricity. And then I started feeling sick, and I was like, why am I feeling sick? So I went inside and got my bucket and my toilet paper, and I went back out to like the first spot, and then I purged, and I was like, okay, and I said, what is this? And first she was like, Mama she was having a bit of sense of humor. She just goes, it's black beads. And I was like, yeah, it's not just black beads. And then I like waited, and she said, it's selfishness. You've just been take, and you haven't given anything back. And you took that second cup of ayahuasca and you didn't need it. And you've been taking all this energy from everyone. And I was like, ooh, okay. So, and then she showed me a vision and she became sad. And I had this on Tuesday night. I had this flash of Mother Nature just being really sad. And I didn't know what it meant. And I wrote it down when I journaled it, and it came back. And then she said she was really sad that humanity is just taking from her and not giving anything back. And then I started crying. So I was like crying for her. And so that was like my second purge. And then I tapped into, I had this reserve of the energy, like the healing and love energy that I cultivated the night before. And I had my hands on the ground and I was just putting that back into the earth. And then I was fine. Like I was good. Like, no more purging. Got my bucket, got my toilet paper, went back inside.
Channeling that energy
and
back
lay
in.
down. Yeah. And so then all I did, like I didn't really have any visions. I just went into like a meditation, basically for the rest of the night. And so I had like my third eye connection with the moon. So I was drawing in like this energy from the moon. And I just, like I was very centered and very grounded in myself. And it just felt like it was just calmness and tranquility. And that's what I was getting. And so then I was just pushing that out to the room. And just like the whole night, just bring it in, pushing it back out. And I was like, I give calmness and tranquility to anyone who needs it or wants it. And yeah, and like some people again came up to me afterwards and said, yeah, I felt that.
Wow.
And so that's all I did.
Could be a new vocation.
I know. But then I didn't have the eye mask on. So this was the first night I didn't have the eye mask. So the first night couldn't even be in the room. Second and third nights, all the sounds were fine, but I couldn't look at anything. And then that night, like on the Thursday, like I could open my eyes. So, you know, and just look around. I could watch what was going on when they were doing like the group healings, and then the music was playing. And it was really nice because I could just be really present in the room for the first time. And I wasn't breaking that connection. Like it was still there. As long as my hands were on the ground, I had the connection going. I think I dozed off for a little bit and I woke up and my hands were still there. And I was like, oh yeah, it's still going. It's just like going through me.
Yeah.
And so I was feeling very calm and tranquil myself. So that's pretty much all I did until the morning. So I missed the first healing with the women because I don't know where I was. Either in the toilet or I was outside. And so mine was the last one, which was when it was actually daylight.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, like I really want to like not be fully sober for it. So I asked, I was like, can I take another glass? And she said yes. So I went up and I took another half glass, like before the healing. And so I went into the healing, and wow, I mean, that was just so powerful, having like 3 or 4, however many shamans there are,
Such a spiritual car wash.
doing their like mojo on you. And I was just like, I went into a bit of a meditation there, and like normally I get so distracted when I meditate, like my mind just goes. And like Thursday night, it just like, that's what I got, like how to be present. It taught me how to be present. And so I was just like, it was light, and I thought I'd lost my connection to the moon. And then I was like, no, I haven't. It's just gone below the horizon. It's still there. And so then it was like right back on. So I was kind of breathing this in, and then I was breathing out, like I let go of anything that no longer serves, while the shamans are, you know, removing bad energy or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I was just breathing in, and then when the music starts, you know, they start tapping their feet, and then like gets more intense, and the music starts. And then, because I was sitting there, so then I was like drawing the vibrations up through my chakra again. And so I like, all of them were like aligned, and they were on, and they were just full of energy, because it was either coming down from above or it was coming up from below. And I haven't worked out how to, you know, like cross them. So that's something I need to work on, because I was like, oh, you just need to cross them, and then, you know, your kundalini will be awakened and everything. And I'm like, but they get stuck and they stay in their lanes. Like, I can't get them to cross. And so I was basically just bringing them to my heart and having them meet there. And I just felt so alive. Like, while the shamans were just doing their thing on me, and I'm like, oh my God.
Well, that sounds orgasmic.
Yeah. So that was Thursday.
What a good Thursday. Well done. And you, honey?
For me, Thursday was all about healing. That was the healing point for me. I just did the one because I just felt, after I took it, I started getting sick again, and I was like, seriously, there cannot be anything left in me to purge, really. I mean, this is enough, right? So I got up and went in the bathroom, and I never purged this way. I mean, it never came out. It was just, it wasn't as bad as it had been. Let me just say that. So, and I went back, and I would lay down for a minute, and I was getting hot again, and it was, put my head and I flop back and forth, and all of a sudden I hear a cat. A cat starts meowing, and I am a huge cat lover.
Oh, me too.
So as soon as that happens, and I went to the bathroom, and then I went back out to my hammock, and I sat in the hammock, and so I started calling the kitty, and all I could get was, Kitty. Kitty, and I would meow,
Yeah.
and I never found the cat that night. So
It was a cat, though.
there was a cat, yeah, thank goodness.
It's a
Then I
very
started-
friendly cat.
I thought so. So I went back in and lay back down. And the surgery started again, and I'm like, and I didn't say this before, but I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and degenerative disc disease. So I've got a whole lot of physical issues, besides the emotional and psychological. So I guess that's why I had so much going on again, and I kept saying, what are you finding? I mean, what's going on? And it was always shh. So I had drifted off, and somebody sat down on my mattress and said, would you like to come for your healing? So as soon as that was said, in my mind, immediately I invited my mom and my dad and my husband and my son to come with me. And I said, you've been on this journey the whole time with me to what I've become. Now I want you to see me being healed.
Nice.
So when I sat down, in the semicircle, I could feel my mom and dad on one side, and my husband and my son were up above me watching. And as soon as I started, just with everybody else, I just started purging again with crying. And when they got to me, it was one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced. I mean, there were 8 of them around me, and they were chanting and praying, and all the lotion.
It's so amazing, isn't it? It's literally
there was a thing with feathers
the
as well.
feathers, and touching your heart, and then whoever was touching your stomach and your neck, and I felt like Mitra.
Yeah.
He really, I guess he felt how sad I was, because when he went around the room before it started, he asked all of us to tell him our name, say our name and our intention. My intention that night was to be healed, to have my heart healed, and take away all the depression, the grief, the anxiety, the anger. So he kind of just sat there with a minute, and he just had his hand so strong on my head. I could just feel him pulsating energy, and it was the most freeing thing I have literally ever felt in my life.
So how do you feel now with all these
Just free.
past conditions?
Still sore. I'm very sore. I woke up this morning thinking I've got fever.
Well, it's really like having surgery, so you're gonna be sore,
exactly.
and things are still gonna be coming up because suppressed emotions and everything, they're still like can rise up. But trust me, if you're still feeling the aches after surgery, it's literally like really having surgery.
Right. And after the healing, I went and laid back down, and to be honest, I was had been concerned about how long this was going on. From 7:30 until 9:30 or 10 in the morning. I thought, shit, no way.
Yeah.
But as soon as I lay back down after the healing, that was it. I just
Straight out.
I mean, just like a black curtain literally dropped in front of my face. And I went to sleep but when I woke up, the sun was up already.
Your transformation has been so incredible, from somebody who didn't want to be here anymore and on antidepressants to not having antidepressants, and that's not going to be in your future. It's like to knowing that there's different tools as opposed to having a crutch like a pharmaceutical. It's like you know that you've got other things now, and it's like just propelling your life and setting you up with a whole new toolbox.
Right.
To know that even if you weren't going to commit suicide, just knowing that you are meant to be here.
Right.
Like, it's like getting that download and then speaking to loved ones.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And I didn't have the vivid, and I did a little bit Thursday night. I did see a little bit of the geometric shapes and on the ceiling, but I didn't have that. I mean, mine was more, it was what I needed.
Yeah.
That's what I,
and she goes in the order.
Right.
She goes in exactly the order you need it.
Exactly.
You've got to clean out the hallway to get to the room.
Right.
So she's just cleaning out whatever needs to be done before she can get to wherever she needs to go. It's just so incredible, like two very different stories,
Yeah, because like in the sharing on Thursday morning, and like everybody the whole week has been talking about, like overcoming depression or like, traumas that have happened or still happening. And I'm thinking, mine was completely different to that. And Mitra said to me, she also like teaches. And she was teaching you.
She meets you where you're at. It's like you don't want to be here anymore, she's going to make you want to be here. You've just got a little bit to clean out. She's going to clean out what needs to be cleaned and then like instill you in the next steps of power. So she meets you exactly where you're at, which is why I brought you both on, because it's like two totally different stories, but then so many crazy connections.
Because even Thursday night we still had the tapping.
Yeah.
I mean, every night she and I were just right there.
Yeah.
Oh, how amazing.
And to find out we live in the same country, although it's on opposite sides, it's
but
still
you're going to have to meet up. And how was breathwork last night then?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I still was doing it wrong, obviously, because people kept coming around and tapping and moving things,
But they're just body mapping, and just making sure that your breath is going in.
Shoving the thing, So, I enjoyed it. I find it quite relaxing, but, I didn't get any of those amazing breakthroughs that some people
I know. Some people had, like, their miracles last night. It was beautiful, but just keep trying. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
It's like I have witnessed it myself, the most powerful visuals and releasing of energy. Even like it's similar to like on the plant medicine, so it's just about it's like riding the bike.
Yeah. Oh, I'm happy to keep doing it. It's just like when Christian asked, like, did anyone get the same kind of effects?
And you're like,
nope.
No multiple orgasms here.
For me, I really did as far as that tingling like I had the first time I did it, but this time it was so incredible that I was
yes.
Shaking.
Because we were sitting next to each other again.
Yeah.
And then you're like, look at my hand. And it's just going like this.
Yeah, I wouldn't stop shaking. And I also, I don't want to say pass out. What do? You just, like I went to sleep for a minute and just, came back. And also there's a lot of laughter. Like the whole room. People were getting laughing. And then that would just start a whole wave of us all.
It is.
And it was such a huge difference. Between the first night when we were all so uptight. And
oh my God, no one was talking.
Everybody's just, we're all breathing and then just cackling because somebody would, and then we would start laughing. And that just didn't everybody.
I know your group when you came in were extremely quiet. Like it was tough to like even get a smile from some of you. And then like I was like, please laugh at my jokes on Thursday. I do not want to look like a total fucking idiot. But then it's just so beautiful to see you all like relaxing. It's like so much fear and anxiety coming in, and then strangers and just new place. And then after a few shots of ayahuasca and that, you're all pretty chilled and like friends.
Well, it's funny because, now purging in front of somebody, I mean, just, we're just talking, hold on.
Randomly talking about shitting yourself.
All the
I've
time.
never
That's no big deal.
heard so many people discussing their bodily functions with so much ease.
It breaks down the barrier. It doesn't. We all shit. We all fart. We all do all that. So it's like.
I usually don't do it in front of But now that's not a big deal with this group because it's like just a big family now.
Oh, I love that. Your growth's been so incredible, and like you especially like not wanting to be here, and then the download as well. It's like.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now your family's going to get the you, the true you.
Right, exactly. That's what I want. I want to heal all of us.
Yeah.
Not that they need it as much as I do, or, but it's, and my husband would say, if you're not well, we're not well.
Oh. So beautiful.
And he's been so incredibly supportive throughout the whole thing. Just
have you spoken to him?
I have.
Oh, but wait till they see you.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what everybody said. You're just glowing.
Oh, you really are.
Sweat.
No, seriously. From when you first got here, this is why I love the medicine, because she really does release that dark energy. Where we hold lines in our heads and we can't necessarily notice it, but she just removes that. So we do look better looking. We do look more glowy because of the medicine. And you, my lady, you need to channel this energy and do something with your new healing skills that have been activated. Like start looking into Kundalini and like yoga and energy. And I mean, you've got something very powerful there. So,
I know. It's
my hero.
I was not expecting anything like that.
And the friendships that we made. With everybody. I mean, I just, I don't know.
It's like friends for life because you go to war together, don't you?
Really
like,
do.
It's so wonderful. It's like a massive sleepover for adults.
But it's not a pleasant one.
No. But it really is. It's like, you remember back in the day as kids, you loved sleepovers? Well, I did. And now it is literally just like an adult version. Where everyone is it's just like a real healing facility. It's like the way hospitals should be. It's like a true healing facility. So what would you say to anybody sitting on the fence?
Do it.
Just do it.
Don't think, drink.
Right, exactly.
Yes. It's amazing, isn't it?
Really
Did you participate? I know you've done some yoga. We've got the yoga, we've got the meditations, we've got the talks, and we had Natalie Ledwell here this week, who is an incredible thought leader who talks all about manifesting, and she's amazing, isn't she? She's just such a beautiful woman, and I think she's going to be booked in to come back. So just keep checking on our Rythmia events pages for all our thought leaders. But Natalie has got an amazing following on YouTube as well, all about manifesting and visualizing and creating the life that you deserve. So definitely check her out. Come and see her here. Come and see all the thought leaders that we've got here. It's been an incredible week. I mean, we've had so many incredible stories. It was so hard to choose people to come on, but these perfect to interview. But there was
double trouble.
We're down. There was another lady, Sandra, who just left. I was going to get her on as well, so I was going to have 3 of them here. But she wanted me to share her story because she has been here 3 weeks, and before she came, she was feeling extremely suicidal, and had attempted it a couple of times. And when you see her, she's just like the cutest woman ever, and you just want to just hug her and love her, and you can't believe when you look at her that she's even attempted it. And I know myself, when I used to say I didn't want to be here anymore, people would just be like, "Oh, you're beautiful, but you've got a nice car and you've got this," but people just don't realize how unhappy you can be inside. And so she physically attempted not to be here. We got her back here, and now 3 weeks in, she's beaming. She left this morning, didn't she? She shared this morning, and she was like so happy, and she was like, "I actually want to live. I actually want to be here now." And it was just such a revelation for her to truly feel like that. So I just wanted to honor her and share her story, because she is put in some hard work, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and she wasn't happy the whole 3 weeks, I can tell you that. But she's cool now. And there was another guy who wants to stay anonymous, but he wanted me to share his story. He's going to put the full story, the full testimonial in on TripAdvisor. So when I'll say a little bit of it, and then you can go and look for it when he does it. But basically, his dad was extremely abusive to him when he was growing up, like really like torturously. And he ended up being diagnosed with like bipolar disorder, ADHD, like a long list of things. And he was on meds, like continuously on meds to treat all these disorders because of what he had been through, the trauma from his dad. And then so he's been looking and searching for something. And so he's got to the point where he got here and he had surgery by praying mantis like aliens. And he too had tried to kill himself many times because he did not want to be here. And so what he saw the praying mantises do is like strip out like his brain, like rewire his brain. And like he was purging out all the pills and everything he'd ever been on. And he says he feels so healed beyond measure, and you can see it in him. He's glowing and he's just beaming. So look out on TripAdvisor for that story. He's such a good guy. The power of this medicine. I mean, we had like big, like bulky men going up to the front and reading poems. You know, like you would judge and think, you know, they wouldn't be into poetry. But over this week, like they're literally just like tapping into the creative and the feminine side. So it's just so beautiful to see the changes that people can have when coming here. And I highly recommend coming here for the first time if you've never drunk medicine before. I would never say not to go to the jungle and not to go into indigenous communities and go and drink there. But for me personally, with my experience, I definitely suggest if it's your first or second time, until you are well prepped and you can navigate the medicine, I would definitely strongly suggest coming to somewhere like this because it is a very, very, very safe haven. Yeah. Would you like to say anything else, ladies?
Just
thank you.
Yeah.
Just thank gratitude.
That's so much gratitude. Yeah. Well, Jerry, the moon, everything that made this happen, thanks to Jerry for listening to the moon. You know, it's like,
and for me, for Jackie,
for you to, it's like listening to these angels, listening to these downloads and not just brushing them off, because look where it can lead you. Let's check out some comments. I know we've got lots of people online. We've got Metzger online. Hey, we've got Anna Maria, Erin Little. I love my experience. A beautiful, safe place that doesn't come off as a business. No, it's such a beautiful place. And the thing is, to make it financially viable, we have to charge money, but we need this to be replicated. So it needs to be something that people are going to see as a financially viable business, but because we need these everywhere. So we want people to say, I'm not going to start a McDonald's, I'm not going to start a strip club, I'm not going to start any form of business when they see that they can connect in and still make money spiritually. So we need these places to be a success. They need to go and they need to grow around the world, like seriously. But it is super, super safe. But you'll know, you can just trust into the feeling that you have, where you need to go and drink, what you need to do. As a first place, I promise you, from my heart, try this and then see where it takes you. See where the journey takes you. Hi, Lynn. Miss you. Sonia, hey, so many pastors. Linda, Candice, Ellen, and Anne-Marie, thank you for sharing your spiritual adventures. Such a wonderful place, program, and group of people. I'm so grateful for my experiences there. We miss you. James, miss you too, Jeff. Dana, hey. Michelle, Shelly, Michelle. Ah. Bruce, hey, so many past guests. I love this. Laquita, this is elitist spiritualism at work here. Well, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about. It's not, hun. It really isn't. It's literally, we're offering a service. It's a service to people who wouldn't necessarily have access to the medicine. Mm. You know what I mean? A lot of people can't get to the jungle and don't want to, right? So we're offering a service to touch the people that wouldn't necessarily be touched. See it in a different light. I promise you. Get here and try it. Hey, Connie. Hey, Kate. Connie, I hope she meditates as she moves forward as part of her integration. Totally. Love and hugs. We are all going to meditate. Mm-hmm. It's just definitely got to be done. Hey, Kerry. Are you still here? Laurie, miss you. Melissa, we love you and your mom. Jana, Hadia, all past guests. Angel, hey gorgeous, hey Mary. Alejandra. Oh, hang on. Davis, coming to Rythmia in May. Fire it up. You're going to have the most magical time, I promise you. And John, me too, Davis, will be there in 1 week. Yay! I still can't wait to hug you. See you all in a week. Rythmia, can't wait. Aw. So epic. Steve, Bailey. Oh, hubby says, hey, Ellen. Oh, so now you can see he's so glowy. You've got a new wife who's had multiple orgasms pushed her away. You're going to be in for some fun.
You'll be so excited.
No pressure.
Thanks, Candy.
I just can't fucking
You just
help
can't help it.
myself. I
You
know.
just don't.
I don't even know. It's not me. It's not
You
me.
even said more. Yeah.
Okay, Rythmia Box was there the same week last year. Oh, we love and miss you. Oh, shout out to my beautiful wife. I'm so excited and happy for her. Oh, man. Sending love from Wisconsin. Sven, hey, Sven. Oh, we've got a few more here. Severin, am I saying that right? I can't wait to one day get a chance to come to Rythmia and find my true self. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Seriously, put it out there. And it will start happening. Jackie, I'm so happy that you Panama ladies got your miracle. Jackie, we love you.
Jackie.
Thanks for listening to Mama.
Yes. And making me listen to you.
Oh, yeah. It's so incredible, isn't it? Tudor, hey Candice, what happened to the monthly newsletter for Rythmia this month? Well, I don't bloody know, do I? I haven't got a clue. I don't know who you would email about that either. Maybe call these people. I really don't know about that, but I know they've got my name wrong. Have you noticed when they send the email, it's Candice and then Marie Fox hyphen. I'm getting them to fix it. So can you ask them to do that as well? Okay, let me see. Ellis, awesome experience. The medicine lasts for a long time. It really does stay in you. Janine, so happy for you ladies. I'm coming in June. Yay! Tudor, is it safe for a person that's bipolar to drink the plant medicine? I know someone that can benefit with a Rythmia trip, but I'm wondering if it's okay for him to take it. We do definitely have people here that have been bipolar, but everything is case specific, and I don't want to say yay or nay. I mean, there's a lot of contraindications, but this number, you can get to the medical team and they will do a screening and just work it out like specifically. And Melissa, we can't wait to have you back here. We love you so much. So that's it. Love, love, love. Can't wait to see you. And yeah, put any questions on here and I'll answer them in the next one. Lots of love to you. See you here soon.